Write the counts below each measure. Remember, when crossing a bar line, the counting starts again with 1. Observe the time signature. It is a 4/4 time signature, which tells us there's going to be 4 beats in the measure, and the bottom 4 tells us that a quarter note receives 1 beat. Let's begin by numbering the measures. Measure number 1, measure number 2, and measure number 3. In measure number 1, we have a quarter note. It receives 1 beat. We're going to draw the number 1 and a circle. The second quarter note receives 1 beat, but because of the time signature of counting to 4, it's going to be number 2. Not because it has 2 beats, but it's the second beat of the measure. And we draw a circle around it. We then have a half note, which receives 2 beats. But once again, because the time signature tells us we have to count to 4, we're going to label it as 3 and 4. Draw a circle that tells us we're going to hold it for 2 beats. One way we check that we're counting correctly is observe the bar line, which creates the measure and tells us we have to start again with beat number 1. We have a quarter note and we have a 1. This informs us that we're beginning the measure and our numbering is correct. The second beat is a quarter note, again 1 beat. We're going to identify it with the number 2. Another half note gets 2 beats, so we're going to draw 3, 4 with another circle. Another bar line tells us we begin another measure, and we're going to start with 1. We have a whole note, and a whole note receives 4 beats. So we're going to count now 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 circle. This is how we would count out this piece.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
The next practice tells us to draw 1 note to complete each measure. Observe, what rhythm note would complete the measure? Write the counts below each measure. First, we want to identify the measures. Measure number 1, measure number 2, and measure number 3. It is a 4/4 time signature that tells us there's going to be 4 beats in the measure, and the bottom 4 tells us that a quarter note is going to receive 1 beat. Let's begin with measure number 1. We have a quarter note, 1, another quarter note, another 1 beat, but we have to go count to 4, 2, 3. We're missing 1 beat here. And what rhythm note receives 1 beat? It's a quarter note. So we're going to complete this measure by drawing the quarter note. In measure number 2, we begin with 1, another quarter note, 2. We're missing 2 beats, 3, 4. The rhythm note that gives us 2 beats is a half note. So we're going to draw the missing half note to complete this measure. In measure number 3, we're missing all 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the one rhythm note that gives us 4 beats is the whole note. We have now completed this piece.